Hey guys, it's Mrs. Kohler.
And Mrs. Vegas.
So we're here to show you the results of our end of the egg lab. So you should have been following along and doing this at home with us. But in case something went wrong on your end or you're having trouble interpreting your results, we're going to show you what happened with ours. So first we put the eggs in vinegar, take off the shell. And then we, last night we put them in either distilled water or corn syrup to see what happened. So this is the egg that we placed in corn syrup. And as you can see, as I'm moving it around, it is very, very squishy. When we measured it, it came out at only 13 centimeters around when it started out at 14.5 centimeters. So it is 1.5 centimeters smaller in circumference than when it started out. So in your data table, you should also be doing this. By the way, we rinse this in water first so that we're not just like playing with this with corn syrup all over it. In your data table, you should write down some observations about your egg. One of those observations should be what your new circumference is. And also describe how the egg feels now. You know, describe the membrane, describe how it's squishy. The other thing I wanted to show you, if this shows up on the camera, is corn syrup is really, really thick. But see how that swishes around now? That's because when we put our, oh yeah, you can see here where it's lighter up top here. That's because when we put the egg in, all of the water that escaped the egg through osmosis went into the corn syrup and made this a lot more liquidy than it started out as.
All right, and then for the one that was in distilled water overnight, you can see that looking at this one, definitely in comparison, if you hold them side by side, this one is a lot more swelled than what we have with our corn syrup egg. So it's definitely, it feels firm, not necessarily hard like an eggshell, but like a very blown up balloon. So in your observations, that's one thing in comparison to your corn syrup egg. You can see that that's pretty firm, and it is not as maybe a floppy type of squishy that we have over here. It's a lot larger than what we started. As a matter of fact, from our original, this one started at 13.8 centimeters and we ended at 16.1 centimeters. So this one is a bit larger. For our cup, because we actually just, since it was just in water, there's nothing to observe from this because we just dumped the egg out to make it easier to remove. So for your observations, again, just make sure that you're including all of those parts in your data table.
Okay, so this is what you should be filling out today as far as your lab report goes. This first page should have already been filled out on day one. That was just directions. You should have finished filling out this section of your data table today, the part with the after corn syrup and the after water. And you should be answering the analysis questions. So you can answer these analysis questions either by writing them in by hand and then scanning it and sending it to us, or you can type these in. If you need more room than what the line shows, that's fine. You can take more room than what the line shows, but you should be answering these analysis questions and the two conclusion questions.
Brought to you by